season marks a new beginning. Witness the raw power, iconic sound, and pure speed from the historic Lotus 79. Experience the competition and glory days of early 80s open-wheel action. Watch as drivers wrestle these ground effects cars into submission. Drivers will face off wheel to wheel. For some, it's a chance at redemption. For others, an opportunity to make a statement. All sharing the same goal, to be crowned champion. Who will be victorious tonight? The Lionheart Retro Series presented by DMLC Racing Channel starts now.
We are all gamers, and HyperX is always ready to game. Competition, commitment, excitement. This is Lionheart. From Canadian Tire Motorsports Park, it's time for the Global Sim Racing Channel's coverage of Season 4 of the Lionheart Retro Series, presented by the DMLC Racing Channel. This is the HPP Grand Prix of Mosport and all the simulated retro Lotus 79 action from green flag to victory donut, streaming your way live as it happens right here on the iRacing eSports Network. From the land of the Mounties, welcome to another GSRC broadcast and our sim experience, Countdown to the Green, alongside of my good friend and teammate, the banker, Brian Yazik. I'm Jason Galvin, joining you live from the virtual press box for tonight's HPP Grand Prix of Mosport action. Sean Ambrose has the honor of dealing with the two of us while directing this broadcast tonight. The great camera angles you will see at this beautiful racetrack come your way courtesy of our good friend Dougie Beard. Canadian Tire Motorsports Park burst onto the scene of American racing fans when the NASCAR Truck Series began its escapades here in 2013. But for open wheel fanatics and sports car fans, this facility has long been a fan favorite. Let's dive deeper with our GSRC track guide.
All right, we've got Amjad Yaman in the GSRC Lotus 79, so let's do a lap around Mosport. Coming down to turn 1, you can tell right away that this track is both bumpy and fast. Be careful not to get too wide at the exit or else you'll spin the car across the track and smack the wall. Then comes Clayton, which will offer very little chance to react if something goes wrong ahead of you. You're absolutely flying through this blind bend, so running in traffic will be nerve-wracking. After that, you hit Quebec, which really opens up on the exit, so getting to the right line and getting to the power as soon as you can will be critical through here. Keep it flat to the floor down through turn 4, but hold the car to the left and try to keep her steady over the bumpy braking zone. Throttle control coming out of Moss will be make or break. It dumps you onto the long Andretti straight, so drivers that know the limit of traction will be finding those extra few tenths. And that's incredibly difficult in a car with this much horsepower coming out of a turn that slow. Climbing back uphill, expect the draft to play a part in the racing with the big hole this car punches in the air. Once you come to the last crest, stay to the left and swing it into the S's. Passes will be possible around the outside, so watch for drivers to try and hold on and then claim the apex for turn 9. Be wary of the inside curb around White's Corner, and as you bring it to the line, we've now finished a lap around Mosport.
All right, here's the bad news, race fans. Only one driver in Lionheart Retro Series history has won 3 consecutive races. That was Alex Saunders back in his championship runner-up campaign of 2018. Sage Karam has a chance to do that tonight. So as I turn to my broadcast partner, Brian Yazik, I ask you, this is the bad news part, do you remember what Sage said about this facility 2 weeks ago?
You know, Jason, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that he said this was one of his, if not his favorite racing facility here on the service.
I do believe that is exactly what he said. And everybody else in this series has had 2 weeks to study this track to try to figure out how to be.
And we're going to, you know what? And because of that, we're going to give you the quick way around here. So here we go. Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, also formerly known as Mosport or Mosport, if you're kind of, depending on where in the country you're at, how you pronounce your O's. You see, it's a 10, it says 10 turns, but really it's more about to 14 because of how it classifies. You see that little nub on the far left part of your screen? That's 5A and B. Yeah, I mean, it's a nub. It's kind of the easy way to describe it. That's called Moss Corner. It's a double rights with an elevation change leading down into it and out of it. So you talk about Calamity Corner here. I really think that Moss Corner is going to take the cake of that. But then it leads, that corner is also so important because it leads down the Mario Andretti straight, which leads all the way down to kind of the 8, 9, 10 towards the bottom half of the facility. So you see all of the turns are really kind of in that first half, and you're just doing everything you can do to kind of set the second half up. 2.5 miles, 3.957 kilometers for, just so we kind of get the full effect of everything. And if you want the full effect of everything on the racetrack, remember this countdown to green is brought to you by the Sim Experience AccuForce steering system with the most advanced tuning features on the market. The advanced AccuForce Direct Drive is second only to the Real Thing. And check out the entire Sim Experience line of product. Head on over to simexperience.com.
Yes, this place reminds me of, and by the way, we are into the qualifying session here. About 4 minutes in Lionheart, we get 4 laps on a road course. They take your best lap. That's for both the Retro and the IndyCar series in a 10-minute qualifying session. So because of how quick you get around this track in 1 minute and 10 seconds or so, many of these drivers may choose to wait later in the set. But yeah, as I was just thinking as we looked at the track map there, this place reminds me so much. This is the true OG Roval, so to speak, in my mind. And there's no oval attached to it. But really, aside from Moss Corner, this place it's a super speedway with right turns.
I think you're really right on that. I've never considered that kind of until, what's the expression that you see on Facebook? I was today years old when I realized that. That really is incredible. So and that's kind of what I was talking about. When you get that run up the Andretti straight down in through the S's and White's Corner that leads you around the front stretch, that's pretty much wide open through a large chunk of that. Even when you come off the S's, you're going to blip it just a little bit. So you got to build up that speed. So yeah, it is like the Roval, the Charlotte Roval, which we're all kind of pointing a reference at, where it's a very heavy base momentum track, and especially with these cars not producing the top end speed like you might be used to on the IndyCar series or other series that you see on the iRacing Esports network. These guys you're going to hear them grunt out of the corner, but then because of that, you're also going to see them kind of tire slide like we saw at Donington a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, and this would be interesting because, again, we've talked about that new tire model on the road course for this car, and this is a track that will likely really put that model to the test here as we take a look at our point standings presented by the DMLC Racing Channel. Good friend Mark Cohn over there. And right now it is Sage Karam leading the way in the championship standings by 5 over George Sandman, with Alex Saunders and Ryan Otis in tow. Remember, Otis had that near disaster at Watkins Glen and was able to recover at Donington and get himself back up onto the podium. So top 4 started to check out a little. I don't think that's much of a surprise as we look at things and move over now to the team standings presented by our friends at HyperX. We're all gamers at HyperX, and rocking that headset tonight is so comfortable. Let me tell you that. George Anzaldo, Travis Jagerlener, and Sage Karam. The reason that team is leading the points over the combo of Paulson, Otis, and Wardlow. The Raven Motorsports teams 1 and 2 right now. Senrock Esports, though, they've been hanging around. Don't sleep on that team either. Something about that team just seems to sneak up on everybody at the end of every race.
Yeah, and going off of that, let's take a look at our butt kicker rookie of the year standings. And as you've kind of seen, with our little bit of a shorter season, you start to notice trends are developing, and the trend that you're noticing first, Trevor Malone is still atop of the rookie point standings like he's been pretty much since the start of the year. But the thing to pay attention to, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, from second and third on back, you notice that gap keeps shrinking. If you go back and watch some of our other races, that was much higher several races ago, as you see the likes of Chris Reagan, Tommy Ryan, Ricky Hart, Michael Kangaroo Gray, Bruno Miranda. These guys are starting to pick up the pace and kind of get over the rough start they've had to the season. So I think you're going to continue to notice as the season rolls along, this rookie battle is going to get really intense really fast.
Chugging along here in qualifying, and right now, Sage, stunning, is on top of the field. 109.026. Yeah, it's about half a second on everybody.
You said that, and all I thought of was like an old wrestling promoter, and he'd be stunning Sage Karam. It just, especially when you're up half a second qualifying, I mean, it's a good way to be.
It's Karam, Otis, Saunders, and Sandman. Boy, 1, 2, 3, 4 in points, or 1, 2, 3, 4 in qualified. Jason Bossy up there in 5th. That's a new name up in the top 5 in qualifying. Great to see new names up there. Aaron Morgan, our buddy Richie Hearn, Dustin Wardlow there as well, with Chris Reagan and David Altman. That's the top 10 right now. And a reminder that the best of the best in iRacing comes to you right here on the iRacing Esports Network. That's where you're watching this broadcast. If you're hanging out with us on YouTube, make sure you hit that subscribe button right there. The Lionheart Racing Series powered by HyperX. It's the premier open wheel racing league on iRacing. It oversees 2 great series, the Lionheart IndyCar Series presented by First Medical Equipment, and tonight's series, the Lionheart Retro Series presented by the DMLC Racing Channel. Both of the Lionheart Racing Series powered by HyperX divisions, race in honor of the late, great Dan Weldon.
And we're going to go off of that. We're going to take a look at our series details here, and these series details are brought to us by our friends at Minus 273, the premier name in karting gloves. Industry-leading gloves are super lightweight and durable, made of breathable poly spandex, just like my shorts are right now. Whether you're a kart or a sim racer, Minus 273 gives you the control to reach victory lane. For more information on Minus 273's full line of gloves and apparel, visit www.minus273.biz. And hey, don't forget, we have a promo code LHRS for 25%. Yes, 25% off of all of your orders. See there, round 4 of 18. That's what I was talking about during the rookie standings. This, compared to some of the older seasons being a little bit longer, you kind of notice these things. But 4 of 18, Lotus 79, the classic ground pounder, old Formula One style, adjusted fixed setup with cash and prizes of $6,671.
And here we go. Qualifying is complete. Sage Karam on the pole once again. And we are ready to go with the HPP Simulation Grand Prix of Mosport. 51 laps, and Sage will lead them in the butt kicker starting grid, with Ryan Otis in the other side of row 1 there. Alex Saunders and George Sandman in row 2. Jason Bossy and Aaron Morgan up there in row 3. Richie Hearn and the Candyman. Dustin Wardlow in row 4. And Chris Reagan, David Altman in row 5.
In the 11th position, or the inside of row 6, inside of row 6, Scotty McClendon there with Lionel Littletrain Callisto to the outside. You gotta wonder when that luck's going to turn around on Lionel's season. Brian Cords at 13th with Vinny Ducana 14th. Bruno Miranda, again, another name in that rookie battle, rounding out the 15th spot with the other rookie of the year, Leader Standard. That's a right now. Trevor Malone in the 16th spot with George Ansaldo 17th, 18th, and Paulson. Mardi Gras Deanball in 19th with David Clymer to his outside in row 10.
Back to row number 11 now, and that's where you'll find Travis Yageler alongside of Tyson Landis, Paul Jenkins and iRacing's Greg West in row 12, Ricky Harden and Michael Gray back there in row 13. That's an onboard Ricky. That's going to be fun to watch. Tom Dreiling and Tommy Ryan, row 14. Sam Crow and Adam Young back there in row 15. let's take a look at our onboard cameras here in this one. We'll check on our onboards here in just a moment. The weather here for this race right here is going to be mostly cloudy today, 73 degrees, 73 and a half, so it pops up to 74 there because we round up here. We like to give people the benefit of the doubt. 92 on the track temp. Keep an eye on that with this new tire model and the tires falling off. We'll literally see the wind out of the southwest at 9 miles per hour. Shouldn't really affect too much there. As we take a look now here at our onboard cameras, and this is James Paulson in the Raven Motorsports Black Entry for Clipping That Apex, your home for custom motorsports art. Use the promo code Lionheart20 at clippingthatapex.com.
Move on back to the Sandman, George Sandman, with our HPP simulation camera. HPP providing the best in sim racing pedals. Find out more at hppsimulation.com.
And our next onboard camera here should be Ryan Otis in the number 1 car for Sim Experience, second only to the real thing. It's simexperience.com.
And we're going to final camera of the night, Ricky Hart in the HyperX camera. Whatever you play, however you play, HyperX knows we're all gamers. Use promo code LionHRT15 at hyperxgaming.com.
Series coming down the hill under the second bridge right now to Moss Corner. This is 5A, B, and C. And they'll crank around through here and out onto the Mario Andretti straightaway, which also includes bends 6 and 7 up a little hill. Truck on down. At this point, you would be screaming in the fastest part of this racetrack into a pretty quick floaty right-hander that is turn 8 through the S's. You see there's still nowhere near close to it. Should give you an idea if you've not watched a race here at Mosport just how long this racetrack is. They say 25 laps on fuel. We got a 51 lap race. Means this pit window is going to be more like a doggy door for these L79 drivers. We'll have to keep an eye on that. Keep an eye on the 2-wide racing as we go green flag here in Canada. The HPP Grand Prix of Mosport's underway, and Sage Karam immediately getting single file will lead them down into turn 1. They're 2x2 from 7th on back.
Beautiful camera angle looking up right at the top.
Oh, got a cover. Oh, big wreck in the back of the
big
track.
Problems out back. Big problems out back. The 94 was a car I saw that was involved. Michael
Bruno
Kangaroo
Miranda's
Gray.
in that as well.
Bruno Miranda. What got that going?
Got another car off the track. Paulson, one of our onboard cameras, in trouble.
Might be the earliest I've ever seen a commentator's curse kick in. And Bruno has taken it to the pits. All sorts of chaos right out there on lap 1. That wasn't even where I said the problem was going to be.
Actually, Paulson was okay. I'm trying to figure out who the other car was here. Backed hard into the wall. It was Chris Reagan. Chris Reagan, heavy contact in the wall, and he got some help from Scott McClendon. So we're going to have all sorts of things to go back and look at.
Yeah, another one of our Rookie of the Year contenders. Not a good night for Rookie of the Year contenders right off the bat.
We'll get caught up on these wrecks here after we get straightened out a little bit. We got 2 of them now to go back and look at between Reagan and the turn 1, lap 1 crash. It started with Finian DeCuna, and Bruno Miranda had nowhere to go. And boy, poor Bruno has been involved in some stuff in every race this year. And some of it he's maybe stuck his nose in on, but this one, when we get a chance to see it, you will see certainly was not the case. Got a great battle right now going on for the 8th position. David Altman and the Candyman, Dustin Wardlow, are side by side off of turn 3 as they head on down to 4 and Moss Corner, and you're on board with Altman.
Altman looking to take that into the corners. This is what we're talking about, this double right with an elevation change. You really got to hit the power down right here. And you see Dustin able to get away, but this draft down the backstretch is going to keep everybody behind him. Sean, let's go take a look back right behind him. We talk about that run off of Moss Corner. Lionel didn't get a great run. Now he's under attack from Scotty McClendon. But you've got Lionel pulling the draft from the people in front of him. Scotty doesn't have anything, so he's got to fall back in line. We're looking back at it, all from the underway of the back wing, and now we're jumping up. And you see that draft that pulled everybody kind of back together again. That's the beautiful part about the Andretti straightaway. It seems to be this big accordion where it'll pull everybody apart, but then you'll notice again, it'll bring everybody right back together.
Up front, Sage Karam, surprisingly. Oh, Otis is around! Ryan Otis, sideways, he saved it! Saunders in the grass! The points championship implications huge here! Ryan Otis got a tire off trying to hang with Karam. Saunders went off as well. Sandman to P2, Bossy to P3. Alex Saunders, just like at Donington's, gonna have to come driving through from the back, and here it is again.
An amazing bit of drivers from the drivers behind him. That's a spot that where he spun, he should have been drilled by at least 3 cars, especially through that corner. It's a bit of a right hand and blind. You see Saunders just gets it wide, and then Sandman's going to sneak on through.
Boy, what about George Sandman, who just absolutely sent it? He said, I saw an opening and I was going for it. And you're looking at Otis now, who slides into 4th, and he's got Aaron Morgan all over him. Saunders fell all the way back to 7th. He's under attack from Wardlow, and here's Aaron Morgan's onboard. And if you think you could draft down the Andretti straight in this car, Yaz, you can use the draft down through this section too.
Yeah, I mean, you can use the draft anywhere where in this car, it seems like. You see, hanging this corner right here, very, very tough as well. Because of that kind of the weird apex that you have to take. And don't put a tire off on that far side, because that grass is very, very unforgiving to that tire wall right on the inside that just loves to eat front wings for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Well, I was literally going to say Sage Karam had been unable through the first 2.5 laps to pull any distance on Ryan Otis, and then you could see how close Otis was when he lost it going down there into Quebec corner. I mean, he almost slid into the back of Karam when it started to come around, and now all of a sudden Sage looks up in the mirror and goes, 2.5 seconds. I got like a Sunday afternoon drive here where he could just run his times, try to save some fuel and cruise, but behind him it is like a hornet's nest. Sandman has Bossy all over him. Jason Bossy is thinking podium, baby. Ryan Otis trying to get back to them, then Morgan and Richie Hearn, then a gap back to Alex Saunders, who started to open things up on Wardlow. Little Train, that's your top 10. It's unbelievable. From about 2nd on back, the next big gap, Yaz, is all the way back in 15.
Oh, big problems. Little Train spinning off of turn 1. Parks sideways through the track. Looked like he's going to be able to get out of the way, get back going. The heavy rear wing damage on the back of that 97 machine. You're going to see it here. This is a very tricky spot off of turn 1 just because of the momentum that you try to carry. Talked about it in the whole pre-race, that this track is a very momentum-based speedway, so you try to carry everything you can to push every outer limit of grip, and you just push it too far sometimes. Nose then wing. Luckily, he was able to hold on to the brakes. Everybody was able to avoid, just keep that to a 1-car incident. But
and Little Train's race is over, as he tried to get it going, and the whole car was cattywampus, and he has retired it for the night. On board with Bossy, this is P3. We're on lap 5. I keep wanting to go back to lap 1, and the big wreck at the start. We haven't had time to catch our breath yet.
We were kind of exciting for the first little bit of this. I mean, I don't know if the drivers knew here. So we're got this beautiful onboard camera. And this is kind of like your visor cam. You can see the big old mirror back there. But yeah, there's a pretty action-packed place here up in Canada.
With Sage Karam already in fuel-saving mode, Yaz, and I can tell that because right now Sandman has closed the gap by about a half second, so Sage is just managing that gap, trying to make sure it's a one-stop race. Back here in P11 right now, and you're looking at Ryan Corns ahead of Trevor Malone with Paulson and Clymer and Mardi Gras all right behind him. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in a row from 11th to 15th. In fact, Finian's right there as well.
A lot of different things going on back here, but yeah, you got Ryan Corns kind of leading the battle. The other thing to kind of pay attention to as this race starts to progress, a lot of drivers showing a very slight bend up on the right front wing. It's from I think it's turns 3 where you really can ride the rumble strips. It kind of bends up the wing. See, right back there, just behind that battle, James Paulson having to take a very defensive line to keep David Clymer from getting to the inside, and then number 46 machine back it up front, though. There you see Trevor Malone able to just kind of persevere, really, from these first bit of the race, starting 16th up to the 12th position here on lap 7.
But I got to tell you what's really amazing here, and I don't know if Sean can go to this for us. Let's go look at Finian DeCunha's car first. Because Finian started in the 14th spot, and he's hung on to the back of this pack here in P16. Now, remember the giant pileup we had in turn 1, Yaz?
Yeah, I do remember that.
That started when Finian went wide and got absolutely blasted by Bruno Miranda. Let's take a look. I mean, Finian ends up 4 wheels in the air, spins around, and somehow that car is okay. Let's take a look now while we have a moment at the start of this race once again. And watch Finian, and the fact that he's now up to P15 is a minor miracle.
I mean,
yeah, right? Exactly.
What are you going to do there?
Finian dropped a wheel, spun around. Bruno pounded him. It took a couple other cars with him, unfortunately. Fortunately for Finian, he was able to sneak through. Adam Young has retired from this race along with Bruno and Little Train.
Have a good night for the ride shotgun drivers.
Adam said he was planning on maybe starting parking for points here and then working with Lionel. And that has back. If I'm Adam, I might come back, go steal a spot from my teammate. As we take a look at Ryan Korn, just looking back at Trevor Malone. He's at the front of this group that Finian is tagged on to the back of. This is 11th on back. Boy, Trevor Malone's got a big run here, Yaz.
Got a big run, but now you have to kind of decide what to do with it. You can try to go to the inside just like that, and I'm really surprised that
Korns is off! Korns is around!
Just a bit too wide.
And he's into the tires. Oh, boy, and you talk about bad iRacing. Holy smokes. What was that? Ryan Korns hit the Yoshi landmine down there in the S's.
Just a simple spin. I'm going to be okay.
Oh, wait for it.
Oh.
Ryan Korns right there is thinking to himself, like, I did not realize that these submarine mines were planted in the S's at Mosport.
Can we get an F in chat, boys?
Yeah. Ouch. Poor Ryan. I feel bad for Ryan. Well, back to P2. Let that be noticed to everybody not to spin in turn number 8.
Add that to my list of information.
of places not to end up in the wall on iRacing. Yeah. That might go straight to the top of the list there, Yaz. Guys, I'm totally okay. 3 seconds later. Never mind. What happened? Well, it was a Royal Canadian Air Force did a bombing run and mistook me for a target.
I think what it was is a holy hand grenade over there from left over from a movie
Yeah,
shoot.
I guess, yeah.
Let's keeping our eyes on this 11th place battle. You've got Malone, Clymer, and Ducana, and everybody's just kind of trying to hang on to each other right there. Finian once again just kind of persevering as the chaos happens around him.
Finian! Finian caught a wheel. And he's pounded. Is that Paulson? Big wreck on lap 10.
Well, there's the commentator.
Is Finian going to get away with this again?
No,
Finian drives away while James Paulson's upside. Oh, boy. We're going to get an onboard here with James. I think Greg West ends up driving through. I think Greg gets away. Let's watch it first here.
Oh, Paulson. Yeah, that was straight out of Dukes of Hazzard.
Paulson who hit him. Let's go take a look, and you're going to ride on board with that clipping that Apex onboard camera and James Paulson.
I clipped a little bit too much of that Apex, I feel.
Oh, James. Look at him. He's like, where do I go?
Scott, if you're watching, that might be a fun one to document.
That's the new clipping that Apex print available in multiple sizes on clippingthatapex.com. Use the promo
title-
code Lionheart20. You can get
title
20% off of James Paulson's escapades at most.
I kept trying to run into you there verbally. And that one could easily be called as the name of the art, commentator's curse.
No kidding. Battle for second. Really, the battle for third is heating up. Ryan Otis all over Jason Bossi.
Here.
Defending series champion making a move. Bossi defending on the inside line. And you see that. Look at the front wing. Otis with some pretty heavy left front wing damage. Bossi hasn't picked that up yet. And Bossi, watch out! Oh,
Boys.
boy. Oh, if Ryan Otis knew how close that was, well, he'd need a diaper change. He would have just hung a right there. Hung a right.
Wow.
Gone to his pit crew. Asked for a diaper. Thankfully, he couldn't see just how close that was.
And fans, if you look at the top left of the stream, you'll notice that his lap number 12 of 51. Boy, Bossi and Otis. That was a battle for the ages right there.
Man, I don't know if, Sean, if we can get an onboard of Jason Bossi on that one, that might be fun to watch. Otis able to yard him pretty good here down the hill. Oh, boy, Otis. Oh, Bossi's off. Bossi feeling the pressure. Off in Moss. Oh, he spins. Don't do that. Oh, boy. Oh, Aaron Morgan. Aaron Morgan's calling Ryan Otis's crew and seeing if the diaper's still available. Here's Richie Hearn with a big run on Bossi. Let's hold off on the Jason Bossi onboard. Maybe we should just ride with Jason. Seems to be where all the action is right now.
I think we're going to start calling Jason Bossi Magneto, because the battle seems to always happen right around him.
Jason Bossi's going to inherit the Clipping That Apex camera right now.
Wait, are we sure?
As long as he doesn't inherit the luck that comes with it, I think he'll be okay with that.
If this happens, we're going to be on iRacing fails for.
Man.
Going to be in a very important Zoom meeting. Had my first ever Zoom meeting though the other day.
How'd that go?
It was interesting. Oof. Not as interesting as Otis and Sandman up there. Goodness gravy.
Boy, I tell you what I love about this new tire model yet? Everything.
Everything. Yes, everything.
Just watching the cars slide around, like every moment feels like we're living on the edge of the big.
And then at the same time, I feel like it's right. Like this is something that just
you
the
watch
slipping
videos
and the sliding
of this car in this era, right? And that's why people fell in love with Formula One, and conversely, when this style car came to the States in Champ Car, right? People fell in love with that style of racing because you had these high horsepower ground effects cars, the big rear tires, the skinny front tires, and you could it was like racing your local track's go-kart around at 200 miles per hour. And that's what the folks at iRacing have been able to do with this new tire model. They've replicated that. And you heard Sage talk about it after the opener, or maybe it's the second race at Watkins Glen, where he talked about how you finally could feel the front and the rear of the car. And I think that you see that replicated often now in our races here. This is our third road course race with this tire model. You don't get to see it as much on the ovals because the car's really planted on ovals, but on these road courses, man, they are all over the place. Speaking of Sage, he has a 3-second lead on George Sandman.
Also with that right front wing damage as well. I know I said turn 2 or turn 3 earlier, and I realized that I don't know how on a right-hander the left front wing would get bent. I mean, I'm not sure how that would happen, but I've noticed that before in this car, in this series, other series, you notice it right there, that left front, just bent up ever so slight. I don't think it's not from 10.
I'm trying to think of what else it could be from. It could maybe be here. Watch Sage going to the corner here, Yaz. I'm wondering if you catch too much of even though there's not a curb there, there's a bump there. But there's only 3 left-hand corners on this whole track.
Yeah. So it would have to be that one if you try to cut it too far, or maybe go too far to the right off of 1. Or right there. Let's go, let's go cover this log jam back at the 15th
That's a good
spot.
idea. We'll sort out the mystery of the bent left front wing some other time.
Chat, help us out there.
I'm still putting my money on. I'm putting my money on 9. It's the only thing that makes sense to me.
Yeah, or the lead right here. If you put the car too far that way,
Right.
But the only other spot I could think of.
I'm going 9. 9 is what makes sense to me. This is
I know.
15th, and it's Jenkins and Zaldo, Jägerländer, Finian, and Ricky Harden. And Zaldo and Jägerländer are teammates, although on different sub-teams there. Of course, we have 6-car organizations with 3-car teams within them. And you're on board here with Ricky Harden. Last week he was hard in the wall. This week he's HyperX. And boy, that was a hyper pass by somebody right there.
It was Finian.
Finian on
Half
a
of
mission.
the front wing gone.
Finian's on a mission to prove that you can indeed finish in the top 10 after being airborne twice in one race.
Can we say that I think Finian's race is pretty much it's the newest Blues rubber?
Look at the front of the car. How is that thing even? How's he even turned? He has no right front wing.
On board here. I'm okay. I'm stunned.
Like, this car should not turn left. Finian's teammates with Ryan Korn, so he's going to get the clipping that Apex camera as well. The whole Senrock team has inherited James Paulson's camera. I guess it's fitting because James Paulson's out of the race because he catapulted off of the front of Finian's car. So, uh-oh, Greg West and Mardi Gras, they going at it? Here we go. This is a battle for 13th. Oh, Greg's around. Watch out, Mardi Gras.
Oh, hold the brakes. Oh,
Not good.
Jenkins.
That's Paul Jenkins.
Oh, Finian avoids it. Harden maybe got a part of it.
Greg West is not getting a birthday card from Brenda Jenkins, that's for sure. Look at Greg. Hang on.
Wait for watch Ricky Harden right here.
Oh, Greg. Oh, I think he clipped him.
No,
Contact.
please.
It looked like it. Really? It sure looked like it.
Watch this.
Oh, Ricky. And I don't think he didn't even get an off track.
Nope, that's the HyperX Good Hands of the Race Award, presented by HyperX. We're just making up awards as we go here, but I feel like that's a fitting one.
Greg West might need a refresher on the what to do after you spin around backwards part of the rule book there. But man, lap 8. Did I mention it's lap 18? We're not even halfway. Although we are getting close to having to start worrying about pit stops here. We're about 6 minutes away. Let's take a look at the race analysis brought to you by Butt Kicker. 51 laps, and as we mentioned, they say the maximum fuel stint is 20. How much we believe that, we're going to find out very soon. And remember, you ran a full pace lap here, Yaz. So not only do you got to run 26 on the second stint, but you got to factor in the pace lap here on the opening one.
Well, I mean, I kind of liked your, instead of a fuel window, more of a fuel doggy door. I did kind of enjoy that because it's accurate. I mean, we're kind of seeing it swing both ways, and depending on who you talk to and how hard you drive, it could affect it one way or the other. But I would tend to think, like, especially if you're up front and you kind of have those gaps, I would think probably halfway, if you really lift early, probably going into basically most of the facility, because a lot of it's downhill. You lift early, save a little bit of fuel, and even save a little bit on the other end too. Look at this battle though. Jason Bossy, Richie Hearn, Candyman back there. Candyman can.
Richie up there in 6th. I think he just had his career best finish, at Watkins, right? Let me go look that up real quick here, because we have these awesome stats brought to you by the Lionheart series. And Alex Saunders, I know, does a lot of work in that. And yeah, Richie, 5th place. Watkins Glen, his career best finish. Richie's 1 spot off of replicating that here. He's also under attack from Bossy and Wardlow. You know, Bossy was up there the first 10 laps or so thinking podium, 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 and then he had about the 60 seconds from HE double hockey sticks there, and has since had to kind of calm himself down in P7.
So you look at the beautiful camera angles, taking a look at this beautiful action, those great action shots, especially mounted down there in the camera, or down there in the track. Here we go, good battle, Sandman and Saunders, the battle of the S's, working their way up to the S's after the Mario Andretti straight. We're going to take a look here. Sandman probably going to go defensive. That's going to force Alex Saunders around to the outside, but that's the long way around. We saw Otis make it work on the outside with enough, and he made it work. I think Sandman gave him a little bit there. I was going to say, you know, you do have a little bit of bravery. You can make it stick on the outside, but you got Sandman, who's a long run guy. Kind of makes sense to not push the envelope. Again, we're not to halfway yet.
Aaron Morgan also hanging in back there. You see him right there come out of turn 1. Within striking distance for sure. Ryan Otis just ran the fastest lap of the race, 109.57 on that last lap as we ride on with Mr. Morgan. 48 car. Started 6th up to 5th. Just hanging around right there. Aaron Morgan has been Mr. Consistent so far this year, he has, and he sits 7th in points.
Yeah, I mean, you see it a lot that it's not necessarily the flashy runs that can kind of keep you up there in those talks as the season wear on, but you know, it's just those consistent results. You got to be there, and I think a lot of drivers on the surface really try to maybe not think the long haul. They probably think more race to race, and you look at a couple guys out there, and Aaron Morgan clearly is one of them. That just kind of plays it out and just says, okay, I'm going to handle this battle as we come to it, and we're going to make the best of what we have and not ruin ourselves trying to get more out of it than what we could get. We're taking a look at the all-time series leader in starts, Travis Jagerliner. He's battling with series founder, George Anzaldo, looking back from that number 6 machine. Beautiful camera angle sitting off that back wing. Back, you kind of see just how much the rear of the car travels around, especially with this facility not necessarily being one of the smoothest ones out there. It's a very bumpy experience, and especially if you're hanging on to one of the Mackie forces, you know just where every single one of those bumps are. Keep looking here as this battle is going to start to kind of pick back up. It's going to get interesting here, depending on who can get out of corner 5 better. Looks like George is going to run a little bit wide. Travis is going to run a little narrow. That'll get interesting as they get their way up here. Not enough this lap to make that run work out, but definitely got to keep yourself there. But hey, you know, at the same time, just kind of chip away at it, lap by lap, hoping for the best.
We're 2 laps away from the pit window really opening. Let's go take a look at George Sandman. Sandman's dropped off a little bit from Saunders, and you're looking out the back of that race car at Aaron Morgan. This is 4th and 5th right now, the HPP simulation on board camera for Sandman. Best in sim racing pedals at HPP simulation. Yes, I know you have a pair of HPPs.
Love them. I mean, think about it. If I can find success with it, and I'm not talented anymore, think about if somebody has some talent, what they can do with a pedal set like that.
That's why I keep waiting for you to ship them to me. I have a little surprise in for you when we get to Barber next week with the IndyCar. I think.
Oh, boy.
No, it's a good thing. Let's just say that the new rig and the Sim Experience AccuForce is treating Jason much better on road courses than his G29 was.
Yeah, I'd say so.
On board, and this is Ryan Otis, your defending series champion. Speaking of Sim Experience,
Once again, has recovered very nicely.
indeed. I got to tell you, look, I'm not just saying this because Sim Experience sponsors the league. The AccuForce wheel has blown me away, and I've driven it at Dustin Wardlow's house a few times. Like, man, I really like this, right? Like, I need something. When you get it hooked up and dialed into the way that you drive, like, I drive real race cars. It feels like my real race car. Yeah, it is spectacular. Cannot say enough about that product and what it has done for me. And it works really well when you get past lap 9 of races, but I'm still trying to figure out how to do that.
Well, I mean, it usually helps if someone doesn't run into you.
Well, in fairness, nobody ran into me at Michigan. I just ran over everybody else. But it worked really well at Kentucky. Battle for 4th. Sandman and Morgan. Boy, Morgan's right there. I wonder how much these cars are saving, if any. Sandman, that or Saunders has just really yanked Sandman here, which I'm a little surprised to see.
I mean, I think you've seen it too. Sandman.
Aaron Morgan coming this time, Yaz. I do not think he can go the distance. He just announced it. 26 laps left. This is only 25 plus a pace lap. I don't see how Aaron Morgan can go the distance. So now we go up front and see what's going on. Sage is in. Sage is in, Yaz. Sage Karam to pit road, your leader. I don't know that Sage can go the distance here.
Otis still on track.
Otis stays out. Boy, do we have something to track.
Oh, everybody else to pit road.
Whew.
Wardlow, I believe, stays out.
Oh, boy.
This might be Imola from last year.
Oh, boy.
Sage is down and away.
The next car that it can even come around is P12, Dean Mall. Mardi Gras stays out. Mardi Gras has got another lap in him. Now, that won't affect Sage too much, but that'd still be a big run for me. If I recall, Imola, Yaz, Mardi Gras stretched it out at Imola, did he not?
I believe you're right. You're right.
Mardi Gras and Jaeger-Leonard were two of the drivers who stole top 5s at Imola by going a lap further than anybody on Earth or in the celestial atmosphere thought they could.
Now, all right, I'm going to toss a harebrained idea out. Ryan Otis, we saw him get real sideways and have to check up. Do you think maybe, as he dives onto pit road, do you think maybe somehow that little hiccup, coupled with some other savings that he was able to do, maybe get him to this window?
I mean, I'm not gonna say that it didn't. It certainly didn't hurt. Let's put it that way.
Chicken, you know what, and the chicken salad sort of situation.
Candyman is in. Candyman is in. What about Mardi Gras? Trying to see who else did not pit. George Anzaldo, Travis Jaeger-Leonard, Ricky Harden all stayed out, yeah.
I mean, I'm going to say if Mardi Gras goes another lap, I believe he needs to go.
Mardi Gras is in.
Race. There we go. I want to check the fuel lines.
Otis down and away. Sage Karam has him beat pretty good. Boy, I tell you what, the fuel saving Otis did for that lap, though. Look at the gap Sage has opened on him as a result.
Yeah, wow. But if you save that lap and you know you're to the ball, who cares?
In fact, Alex Saunders has gotten around Otis. Although you're talking about help. Saunders got around Otis. Now Otis just gets to cruise behind him and save fuel there too.
Yeah. I mean,
as
long as Otis probably keeps that delta within 30 seconds. Now, let's say 20. Give yourself a little buffer because if Sage has to make the late pit stop, he's going to come out of the pits like a man.
Yes, I think Otis ran out of fuel on pit road. Because if you look at, maybe not. I don't know. His pit stop was longer by 2 seconds. That's weird. That's why I wonder if he was out of fuel and that was them restarting the car. Are you seeing the same thing?
Yeah.
I know we use different scoring, but Otis had a 3-second longer delta and a 2-second longer stop. So that means, I think, if I had to guess, he ran out of fuel before he got to his stall and was clutching it getting in.
You know, I just went back and watched. Might be sputtering. I mean, maybe right as he gets to the end, but right when he pulls into the box, it might be sputtering. But yeah, I mean, you see right now, after the pit stop cycles out, it's about a 7-second gap back to Otis. I mean, if the strategy works out, you give up 7 seconds. I mean, you might be all right. Sage could be going for the over-under, though. Try to build in as many. If you know you're not going to make it, you just run qualifying lap after qualifying lap, build up that delta, and then come in, top off with a very light pit stop, and get back out onto the attack early.
And beat him. Yeah, I just want to point one driver out here. Let's see if Sean can get to him. Tyson Landis, the 58 car. Tyson Landis is just coming off pit road. He ran an entire extra lap from everybody else. Now, how did he do that, Yaz?
Yeah.
I know. Do you?
I don't. I'm going to guess something about
Tyson Landis.
chaos. Oh, wait a minute. Ah!
Tyson Landis dropped. He received throughputed. For those of you who are not iRacing drivers or fanatics, a received throughput is something that happens when you have an internet connection issue that dumps you from the server. So completely, you did not exit on your own. He got dumped from the server as he moves over for Sage Karam. In qualifying, he came back and what we called missed the grid. So he did not get gridded in 2 minutes. Now what happens when you miss the grid? You start from pit road, where you do not run a pace lap. And somehow, Yaz, I think that's going to steal Tyson Landis a top 10 to 15 the way things are going. There's nothing like everything going wrong only to go right.
Yeah, you asked me, and I thought, wait, it sounded familiar, but I couldn't think of it. And then as soon as I just glanced down at like the yellow chat in the session, I went, oh, I remembered seeing his name.
By the way, we got to apologize to our good friend Greg West here. Greg is the driver profile for the week.
Oh.
And after Greg's escapade, Greg, whoa, what's Tyson doing?
Why are we putting the jinx on people?
I don't know. I think he was just letting them go. Anyways, Greg, sorry, I meant to just to tie this up, but Greg West has retired for the night, so we'll have to get to Greg's driver profile later in the season. This one just started.
Yeah, let's take a look at this battle back up here for the second spot.
Me too.
Otis, I feel like Otis on that outside lane, very aggressive maneuver.
Saunders!
Oh, here he comes back! Wow,
Oh,
great
man.
driving! Absolutely great driving.
Drop the wheel too.
I mean, that's just that back and forth. You don't really see that very often, where two guys can go through those corners like that and switch the preferred lane and not wreck each other.
Ladies and gentlemen, the defending series champion and the 2018 runner-up by 1 point. And that's why.
Wow.
Alex
I was going to
is
say.
Greg West's teammate, so that Alex just heard us talking about that and was like, I got you, Greg. Let me pick you up here.
Yeah. What got me kind of going down that thought process there is I looked over at the lap counters, and Otis had actually run a faster lap time while still hanging out in the draft. So that gap is still hovering right around about 7 seconds, as you see right there on timing and scoring. So, I mean, if you're Otis, and you think you probably got the fuel covered, why push? Or was that maybe a power move to think, all right, maybe I could get him to make a mistake and I just get a free spot?
Right. Or maybe Otis is pushing Saunders to make sure Saunders cannot save fuel and then make it to the end, yes?
I mean, Saunders
I think it seems pretty unlikely to me that if you ran 25 laps while also pacing, that you cannot then run 26 on the second segment. But maybe I'll be proved wrong here.
It's a beautiful part about racing.
Oh boy, Jenkins! Oh, they ran!
No!
Otis and Saunders! Jenkins held up Saunders. They got into each other. Saunders trying to get away. He's going to lose 2 spots. Hopefully the car's not hurt too bad. Same thing goes for Otis. He's got some front wing damage. Boy, Paul Jenkins just checked them up big time. I don't know that Paul did anything wrong. He was just not quick through there. Here's another look.
And I think...
Boy, Jenkins was just so slow through the middle of Moss. Saunders checked up and Otis was already...
Saunders is on pit road as well, I believe.
Oh, no.
I'm guessing he probably got a required repair.
Oh, he got hit right in the wheel. I missed that.
That'll do it.
Otis missed the tire and caught him square in the wheel.
Yeah, because he tried to drive away, and the car instantly started crab walking, and about quarter way down the back straight there, he just pulled to the fence and parked it. All right, well.
Saunders. And he has dropped from the race.
Welcome back to the Who Jinx Grand Prix here at Indian Tire Motorsport Park.
Yeah. Sean, you can't hear Sean on the broadcast, but I just want to know if he can go check his PayPal or GSRC's PayPal and see if anybody still in the race has started funneling donations for us to only watch Sage Karam for the rest of it. Back at P4 now, from Sandman to Morgan. This is now a battle for the final podium spot as it currently... Of course, there are all sorts of things up in the air right now because of pit stop.
Yeah, kind of look at every spot as you see on the left side of your timing and scoring.
Just erase it?
Well, and ish to the end.
Asterisks all the way down the scoring column right now.
I mean, pretty much.
Well, we're working here with 17 laps to go when Sage Karam makes it back around. And while things have calmed down momentarily here, why don't you say we give everybody a second to reset, make a run to the restroom, grab yourself an extra libation or two, call your friends and family and tell them to tune in. We got ourselves a heck of a finish coming. We'll take a break and be back with the conclusion of the HPP Grand Prix Mosport here on the iRacing Esports Network. 15 laps remain in the HPP Grand Prix of Mosport here on the iRacing Esports Network, Global Sim Racing channel. Round number 4 of the DMLC Racing Channel Lionheart Retro Series, I should say. Although I do believe Mark has a race coming up. I was jumping ahead there. That's what I was going to do, Yaz. I was going to tell everybody that you can watch, and it's not a Grand Prix because we don't do that on ovals. No. But you can tune in to our next race, the Watchman 250 presented by DMLC Racing Channel. It's coming up 2 weeks from tonight, May 14th, the first Triple Crown race of the year as we go 100 laps around Pocono in this car. You think this has been exciting? Wait till you see that race.
May the 14th be with you.
May the 14th be with you indeed. I was saying this is round 4 of the Lionheart Retro Series presented by DMLC Racing Channel. Go follow DMLC Racing Channel on YouTube and Facebook. Mark Cohn, good friend of everybody here in the league, a teammate of Brian and I, is over on the IndyCar side of things, and he is just a good time, man. He's a big-hearted guy, tons of fun, and his videos, I mean, you want to see somebody who is passionate about iRacing and sim racing, and Mark Cohn is the definition. That's what, when your friends go, man, sim racing, you show them Mark's videos, and they'll go, okay, we get it now.
Yeah, that's kind of the best way to sum it up. I mean, you know, just the dedication and the passion that he puts into these videos and his projects and everything like that. It's really good. And if you do watch some of those videos, as Galvin mentioned, we are teammates with them on that side, so you might hear some familiar voices floating through your speakers on that YouTube channel.
We're watching George Sandman and Aaron Morgan right now because that's the battle for P3. And it's close enough that if George Sandman so much as sees a butterfly fly across the screen and misses an entrance to a corner, Aaron Morgan's going to be right there to jump. Boy, Sage Karam, I know we're not watching it, but we almost had the commentator is watching Sage curse. Chris Reagan just went into the corner. We can get a replay of that entry to Moss on board with Sage. Man, take a look at this, Yaz.
All right.
Remember, Chris Reagan has a ton of rear wing damage from lap 1.
So here he goes through 5A, 5B.
Oh, that's it. That didn't do it justice because you couldn't see how hung out Chris Reagan was.
It was. I noticed it. You and I drive these things, and you notice those far details, and you know that Sage's heart rate picked up a couple extra
Chris
beats
came up over Moss and was 90-degree locked to the left, trying to keep that thing from coming around in front.
Just a good old boy.
Yeah. Oh boy, Sage really hangs that thing out, doesn't he?
He does, and he does it with control and chaos at the exact same time. It's really fascinating to watch. Terrifying in your mirror. Just absolutely terrifying because he can get you, and you don't know how.
It's like when people wonder why. Like, here's Sage Karam, professional IndyCar driver, in better shape than you and I combined could ever imagine to be while
10 years
characters
ago
in video games, right? And at the end of iRacing races, Sage talks about being worn out. You know why? Because if you and I tried to drive this car like Sage does for 51 laps, we'd get to about lap 6. And then I promise you that we would miss our mark somewhere because we would be wore out.
So I'd get to lap 1.
How far did it get you?
Green, caution.
Yep, exactly. Yep. Sandman and Morgan still going at it for 3. That's the battle we got our eye closest on.
Morgan is bringing that gap in just a little bit to Sandman. It's not, it's not big strokes, but just little bit by little bit. Remember, kids, you can't try to set out to boil the ocean all at once. You got to make your little battles here and there.
Speaking of starting to reel people in, keep an eye on that delta from first to second, Brian, because I'm watching Sage, and I'm wondering if he is in full send save mode yet. Realizing the gap is not big enough for him to win this race unless he saves to the end. and tries to find that extra lap. And so Otis had knocked off a full second, but it's kind of evened out here.
Yeah, that's going to be a fun thing to watch as this race reaches the conclusion here.
Were
Good
they
battle. Look at
three
this.
wide behind these two? Did I just see that down the Andretti straight? I think I did. And it was for, like, not even for position. Boy, I sure did. George Anzaldo, Jason Bossi, and Michael Gray. George Anzaldo and Michael Gray are racing for position, and Jason Bossi and P5 came up and just Talladega shoehorned them down the Andretti. It was the last time down the Andretti straight for these two.
Shout out to Jason Boston. Nice little 5th place effort. Noticed in the chat he's got a little bit of a fan club out there, so recognizing. We're going to put the camera on him, so that means most certain doom. So I'm sorry to all of the Jason Boston fans.
Shout out in advance. See Midwest Simulation on the side of that car. Shout out to Scott Rupp, who's been a big part of the Lionheart League without being in the car over the last couple years. Lives out in Iowa where a couple of our drivers live and became a fan of the league. Built a mobile simulation kit he brought to Iowa for our annual Lionheart meetup. By the way, you racing fans out there can come to the Iowa Speedway event for the IndyCar Series. You can probably find about 30 to 40 plus Lionheart drivers and their family members hanging out. It is a good old time. To be announced, obviously, but Scott Rutt, Midwest Simulations, then he created a product called Spotlights. And if you are an iRacer and you don't know about Midwest Simulation Spotlights, you are literally not maximizing your ability to drive the race car. They are affordable and the most simple things, and they are literally lights that attach to your monitor and act as your spotter, because before iRacing can blurt out car low, you're going to know the car is there because that light's going to light up. In fact, Mark Cohn, the DMLC Racing channel, just did a great instructional video about the spotlights. So if you want to see and learn more about them, go to the DMLC Racing channel on YouTube, find out about spotlights, then head to Midwest Simulation's website. Pick yourself up a pair. Watching a good battle right here.
Now, you and I both are very fond users of the Spotlights product. Last week, I had a gremlin that I probably created myself, and I ran a good chunk of laps at Richmond in another league race without them. And I compared it to that scene in Talladega Nights when Ricky Bobby gets back on the track, and he's just screaming as cars are all around him. That's pretty much what happened.
Right. On board here with Scott McClendon trying to chase down Travis Jagerliner and Dean Moss. I tell you, I saw it the other night. Ron Capps, who is a professional drag racer, NHRA Funny Car World Champion, Napa Auto Parts driver, has been racing a lot of these iRacing events. Ron's been a long-time iRacer since long before the coronavirus, COVID-19 shutdown. And Ron was
one of the first big ones.
He was one of the first big professional drivers on iRacing. Ron lives down in Southern California. He's turned into a pretty good friend of mine through my work in NHRA. And so I hooked Ron up with a set of spotlights, and he tweeted about it the other night after a dirt race that some of these other pro guys could use a set of them. This was the iRock style series that they're running on Fox Sports. So that was pretty cool to see. Ron, who, you know, I sent him a pair and said, Scott Rupp's not looking for anything here. He's not looking for an endorsement or anything. He thinks it'd be cool if some of you pro guys start using this too. Ron, 2 weeks later, is already bought into the can't race without him mode, yes.
Yeah, and that's just wonderful to see. I kind of had a slight moment of that myself when, if you're not familiar with another product out there, sim racing apps, the spotter or the pit countdown is yours truly. And when I found out in Landon Castle's stream that he uses it, and when you hear your voice on a celebrity stream, or pro driver like that, that's kind of neat. So I'd imagine him getting the big shout out there is just kind of a wonderful. You're just kind of like, oh, okay, this is cool.
Hey, when you heard it on Landon's stream, was it because he missed his pit stall?
No, it was the countdown. And then apparently through the grapevine, I found out that they on his team that he races with on iRacing, they call me Dad. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, stop on your side. Okay, Dad.
That's funny.
I found out about that.
I'm going to start calling you that. In fact, Tyler Graphics, we need an update to Brian Yaz's paint scheme here. Your new car next week's going to have Dad on the nameplate.
Here.
Sandman and Otis, or Sandman and Morgan, I should say here. This is P3 and 4. And boy, Aaron Morgan just not going. George Sandman's got to be looking in the mirror like, where is the bug spray at?
Yeah, it's just, I was thinking Tommy Boy right there. Just, instead of, trying to get away from the chaos, and there's just nothing you can do. And it's just this great battle on track. Goodness gracious, get right up to the rear wing of Sandman. Whoa,
Morgan had such a run through there that he ended up overdriving the exit, Yaz, and we know how easy that is. Had he just tapped the brakes a little more and tried to undercut him coming off, he probably could have had a pretty good run there.
Here comes that run.
I don't know if he's going to get there.
He can get there if he's brave. Forcing Sandman to take the defensive line.
Boy, look at the cloud cover all of a sudden. Out of nowhere.
All at one moment, all of these drivers just smile. Sandman hanging a tire off on the final corner, letting Morgan get the run side by side down into one. Here comes Sandman back. He's going to have the preferred groove into two. Taking it downhill. Morgan looking left, looking right. Going to try to take the outside line. Sandman going defensive down through these right-handers. Quebec corner leading our way down into 5. Good battle here on track.
5.5 laps remaining in the HPP Grand Prix of Mosport as they head down to Moss. Morgan's got him. Can Sandman undercut him? That's the question. And don't look now, but Jason Bossy is there. Out of nowhere, Bossy has caught these two throughout this battle and has hooked on to Sandman down the Andretti.
Like an RKO right out of nowhere. Here is Bossy battling for a podium position. That beautifully painted car.
And Dustin Wardlow's not out of that battle either. 2.5 seconds back of them. There's a lap car between them. I think that's Tommy Ryan. Ryan Otis just laid it down a blistering 109.5. Sage into the 110s. Everybody else he has in the 111s or 112s trying to stretch every drop of fuel out of they can. Like a venti Starbucks on an overtime shift.
Beautiful onboard camera.
This whole team, Yaz, Bossy, Finian, Ryan Corns, they run this car, and it's a tribute car. Whoa, Sandman, watch out, hang on, woohoo!
Hang on to it.
I guess the clouds brought some ice to Moss as well.
The Canadian climate. Track temp right at 100 degrees right now.
Say this is a tribute car or paint scheme to the old Mark Blundell Motorola Mercedes-Benz Champ Car days. And I think Mark, if I recall, when Tyler Graff painted these, I think Mark Blundell even commented or liked it or retweeted it on Twitter or something.
He gave the blessing.
He did. It's spot on. It's beautiful. And that was, I have vivid memories of attending Champ Car races at Auto Club Speedway, California Speedway in Fontana. And that car was always a favorite of mine. It was just so pretty. That car and Mauricio Gugelmin's car they were just always really pretty race cars.
You want to know a random paint scheme that I still have very fond memories of? Raul Boisel's Duracell car.
Oh, yes. Absolutely.
In the 90s?
Absolutely. Boy, Bossy is all over Sandman.
Look at
Ricky
this.
Harden and Finian. This is not
Oh!
replay. These are different cars.
Oh, hang on to it.
Finian with the half nub front wing still.
He's just trying to, I think what he's figured out is he's going to try to drive the rest of this race like a Finn and just basically Scandinavian flick every right-hand corner. Oh, on board, looking off the back of Mardi Gras. That battle back to Scotty doesn't know McClendon. 5A, 5B. So tricky. You're going to hear get the power down. Good corner exit right there from Mardi Gras. But that's not going to quite be enough. Here comes Scotty with the run. Big draft going to the outside. This is where the big boys play out here on the outside lane. Going to try to send it in 8. Makes it stick. Power move from Scotty McClendon.
But remember, Scotty McClendon is who turned Chris Reagan on lap 1 and somehow was able to get through that without any damage and has worked his way now up into P. Let's check back in with Ricky Harden, and you're on board as he is trying to chase Finian back down the HyperX onboard camera here for Ricky Harden. Well, it's so tempting, isn't it, Yaz, with 2 laps to go.
Oh,
trouble
Scott
McClendon!
McClendon!
Scotty McClendon's around, and big contact with the wall.
That happened not far in front of the leader. Just gets into turn 1, drifts it, catches the inside wall. Good heads up driving there from Dean Ball as well.
Let's be off of 2, or into, I should say. Here it is. Oh, man. That was a big hit. Scotty got it going again, but that's going to hurt him. All right, we got a lap and a half left, and Sage Karam's coming down Andretti. The lead is down to 5.5 seconds. You know he's trying to save fuel, Yaz. Here's the question. Can he stretch it? And bear with us, folks, because this last lap, I think, could be wild with us trying to keep track of who's got fuel, who doesn't, who's going the distance, who's not. Sage is staying out, so he's saying, I'm either checkers, not quite wreckers, but not going to be the hero, that's for sure.
Otis is on the same straight.
Down to 4.5 seconds.
Wow, big 2 seconds faster that last lap from Otis. Bunch of traffic on the basically separating out the leaders.
But it's 3 cars, and it's Harden, Finian, and Malone, and it's all for position, which is even worse.
I think
with a couple of cars in the top 10 in points, so you know they're not trying to get out of the way.
Yeah, they're going to hang their line to it.
Otis at this point pretty much just has to hope Sage runs out of fuel. Sage down the Andretti straight. Trying to draft. Look at him, not even in the throttle. Just cruising. Does he have enough? Can he win 3 in a row? Through the S's. It's still running. He's going to need power out of the final corner. And can you believe it? Sage Karam's a wizard and gets it done at Mosport. Ryan Otis will come home in P2. Now we turn back to 3. Aaron Morgan. Does he have enough? With Bossy behind him. Morgan's going to get there. So is Bossy. There's Wardlow. Sandman's out. Sandman's out. George Sandman out of gas. Cars driving by. That's Ryan. There's McClendon. Where's the next position? P7. Richie Hearn coming. Is Hearn going to get there? No. Sandman coasts across at 25 miles an hour in P6. There's Hearn. David Clymer for P8. Here's Altman for P9. No idea where 10th is. All the way back to Travis Jaegerlener coming down Andretti. And Mardi Gras would be the last one. And it looks like they're all going to make it. It won't matter. Everybody else a lap down at this point. Jaegerlener's going to get there. Mardi Gras comes as well. But I got no idea how they did it, but everybody seemed to make it on fuel. But George Sandman, Sage Karam in the record books. 3 in a row here in the Retro Series. We'll head to a break and come back with Victory Lane interviews here on the iRacing Esports Network. Welcome back here to the Lionheart Retro Series, presented by the DMLC Racing Channel. This is the HPP Grand Prix of Mosport and the HyperX post-race show. You know the Lionheart Racing Series is powered by HyperX. When you're trying to claw your way to the top of the podium, it pays to have ultra-comfortable, high-quality headsets that give you the audio information you need to grab the checkered flag. From high-performance DRAM and SSDs to outstanding microphones, accurate mice, responsive keyboards, legendary cloud line of gaming headsets, and much more, HyperX makes the gaming gear you need to succeed. Whether you're casual or a pro, no matter your creed, color, or culture, we're all gamers. HyperX is always ready to game. Use the promo code LionHRT15 at hyperxgaming.com today. Here's your turn race results, brought to you by our good friends at Turn Racing. If you don't have a pair of HyperX headphones, why not get Turn Racing wheels? See their full line of products at turnracing.com. Use the promo code Lionheart10. Turn Racing, merging the gap between real and sim racing. Speaking of merging that gap, a real racer up there on top of the podium in Sage Karam. In fact, Ryan Otis is a championship time trial SCCA driver, right? And defending series champion, comes home in second. Aaron Morgan onto the podium with a third place, followed by Jason Fossey and the Candyman, Dustin Wardlow. That's a great run for Dustin, who has just had the dumps for luck this year in both series. Great to see him finally put it all together. George Sandman runs out of fuel and falls from 4th to 6th on the final lap with Richie Hearn. David Clymer, David Altman, Travis Jagerlander, your top 10.
In the 11th spot, Dean Mardi Gras Mall with Ricky Hart in 12th. 13th, Davinian Ducana. Trevor Malone in the 14th spot with Tommy Ryan 15th. 16th going to Scotty McClendon after that late race incident off of turn number 2 with George Anzaldo 17th. Michael Kangaroo Gray in the 18th. 19th to Tyson Landis and 20th to Thomas Straley.
Sam Crow up to 21st there with Chris Reagan somehow recovering from that lap 1 escapade into the tire barriers, coming home in 22nd. Boy, Paul Jenkins in 23rd after his incident with Greg West. And then there's Alex Saunders, and you talk about a catastrophic points night. Alex Saunders came into this one 7 out of the points lead, will surely fall. Greg West is teammate in 25th. James Paulson, car might still be in orbit back there in 26th. Ryan Corns, Little Train, 27th and 28th. The night started so well for both of them and ended pretty quickly. And then Adam Young and poor Bruno Miranda, who didn't make it more than about 15 seconds in this race before he was also launched into the stratosphere. Why don't we turn it over now to the Sim Experience Victory Lane and the Sim Experience AccuForce steering system, the most advanced tuning features on the market. The AccuForce Direct Drive is second only to the real thing. See the entire line of Sim Experience products. Head over to simexperience.com. And we mentioned it for the third time this year in the third race in a row. Sage Karam, just the second driver in series history to win 3 in a row. Sage, congratulations. You said this was your favorite track. It certainly showed tonight. And after the Otis and Saunders little incident there early on, you really had smooth sailing. And I'm curious just how much that smooth sailing helped you to save fuel to get to the end, because Brian and I didn't think there was any way when you guys all pit on lap 25 you were making it to the end of this one.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I love this place. I love coming to this track. I've raced here in real life and have good memories here. Yeah, I mean, it was a fun race, fun car combination. I think this setup had more downforce than what we usually run. It just seemed like, you could. It was actually quite easy through a lot of the faster corners than I thought it was going to be. So, once I knew I was on pole, I knew that was actually might be a disadvantage. These guys could maybe save fuel behind me and just kind of let me go out front and just kind of let me waste my fuel. So I was actually kind of worried about it. But then, once they got together, it gave me a gap that I could actually, save fuel and do that comfortably. So I saved fuel basically the whole race. I had to save to get to 25 laps. Or not like to get to 25 laps, but comfortably. And just so I could have a nice quicker pit stop. and then once I went down and away, I saved the whole last stint, and with like 2 to go, I saved a lot just to make sure that if I needed fuel, I had it for the last lap, and if I wanted to go for fast lap, I would have that opportunity as well. So yeah, I mean, I had about point 0.1 of a gallon, left in the tank when I crossed the line, so it was, perfect.
Yeah, I'd say it was. Everything seemed to really work out for you there. And how aware were you of what was happening behind you early in the race? Because we were kind of surprised. I think if you go back and watch the broadcast, it was maybe fortuitous timing. But I was just getting ready to mention that the first 3 laps of the race, you really hadn't checked out the way that maybe we thought you would based on the qualifying times, and then all heck broke loose behind you. It was chaos.
Yeah, I actually watched the broadcast while I race. So
Wow.
I put it up in my fourth monitor with my JRT in the corner, so I can like listen to you guys while I drive, just to see like what's going on with my competitors.
Okay.
Yeah.
Unrelated, we'll be having a PayPal that drivers can contribute for us to just
Right?
make random animal noises during the broadcast.
Well, hey, it's funny because we did make a joke about people about the commentators cursed tonight, and people starting to send money our way to talk more about you. I don't
No,
know
I
if you
mean,
heard that, but it felt like every time we went to a car, they were in the wall.
oh no, I mean, I hear like I don't have it like on loud or anything, but I hear
Right.
like just like the main stuff when you guys get excited whenever there's an accident or something, and if I see my relative, if I see a guy that I'm battling with or something have an issue, then I kind of like pay attention to see, if he's still running, where he's at, and stuff like that. But I like to know those things. It's just one more tool that you don't get in real racing really, and you can use that, and then I don't gotta watch it tonight. I can go to bed early.
Ah, there you go. Well, I was going to say, but in many ways, because I race too, so I understand this. In many ways, is that not for you a way that similarly that those of us who are used to racing in real life would get information from a spotter that the iRacing spotter can't provide?
Yeah, I mean it's. Yeah, I mean, obviously the iRacing spotter is like programmed into the game, and they're only gonna, say car low, car high, stuff like that. It's just I think it's a driver preference thing. Some guys don't like any noise when other than the um the engine noise. I'm completely different. I like to know all this information that I can, and that you guys are a vital part of that. So a lot of guys give me they heckle me a lot with how I wear my headphones. I only wear it with one ear, on and one ear off, just because I like to hear myself talk. Like I don't know why, but if I can't hear myself talk, I just get like freaked out. So I'm strange. I don't know, but it's working. So I'm just gonna keep going
Yeah,
with it.
keep
Well,
going. Yeah, it's
hang
absolutely
on.
worth.
Once the season gets rolling, Jason and I both, if you want, Sage, we will gladly come out and spot for you at any one of your races, and we'll just randomly shriek. We'll give you all the information you
Right.
need.
Every
There you
time something big's happening.
go. For
Well,
sure.
Sage, hey, congratulations, man. That was a great run. Great run again tonight. You're on fire, 3 in a row, and we head to Pocono next. And I know in this car, ovals are always a bit of a challenge.
Yeah, it'll be a bit of a challenge. It'll be a lottery probably. Pocono's my home race. I only live like 30 minutes from there, so yeah, hopefully I can go 4 in a row. If not, it's the first round of the Triple Crown, so I want to leave there with a good result with good points.
Well, you would definitely be the points leader by a decent chunk after this one. Congratulations. That's Sage Karam, your race winner for the 3rd time in a row here this season in the Lionheart Retro Series presented by DMLC Racing Channel. Yeah, as
We got Ryan Otis. Ryan, I feel like when we're chatting with you here, the last couple of weeks, it's because you try to make the race really, really exciting for yourself and not just kind of to ride it at a happy pace. I'm sure that's all part of the plan, right?
No, I was not trying to make it that exciting. I feel so terrible. I apologize to Alex multiple times now. I gotta send him a 6-pack or something. I feel so bad. I know he had caught up to some lap traffic there, and I wasn't trying to pass or anything. We were just flown into the corner, and then it all just parked in front of me.
I was going to say I'm not to hijack Yaz's interview, but I'm not sure if you've had a chance to actually go back and watch it. But I think that when you do, you maybe won't be so hard on
No,
yourself. And I would guess Alex is not being terribly hard on you either. It just seemed kind of like a wrong place at the wrong time deal for everyone.
yeah, I have to go back and watch it. I just know it, I should have anticipated that it was going to tighten up a bunch there because I mean that's like the toughest corner on the track, and a lot of people have different lines, and it's easy to go in a little hot, and then you're trying to check up and trying to bring it back, and I mean it gets messy. It's a tough corner, and yeah, I just should have left a little more room, but yeah, that was my bad. Earlier
I
in the
mean,
race, that was my bad too. I dipped a tire. I was behind Sage, and I was just settling in, going to sort of fuel saving mode, and tried to arc it in a little bit high, and I just dipped a tire and made a huge mess of. I think everybody. I think Alex went off there trying to miss me or something. I haven't seen the replay or anything, but it couldn't have been pretty.
it was definitely excitement happening all around you. That's for sure. You know, as you know, as in your title defense, I mean, do you feel like this season is going differently now that you kind of have, you know, you've got the title in your hand already from last year, so you kind of know you've been there, done that, or do you still feel those jitters, like you're still trying to kind of get your hand on your first, you know, your first ring of it?
No, I've actually feel pretty relaxed overall. It's just yeah, I'm just having sort of silly mistakes here and there that's costing me pretty big. I made the same mistake at the Glen where I dipped a tire. I think I did 150 laps of practice and never dipped a tire in that corner, and then, you know, 3 laps into the race, I go and send it off. So
It's
I
usually
think
how
I
that
just
works.
yeah, it's one of those things. Maybe it's complacency, right? You just get a little too comfortable, and you think, I can push it a little more here, and it
Yeah,
turns out that no, you can't.
and it's never your fault. It's the car's fault. Well, the car never did that.
Oh,
You know, 100
totally, yeah.
laps. Oh
No,
yeah,
no, it's my fault for sure. Oh my
Uh,
gosh.
you know, but then you know you go from this, you know, from the twisty turns, and you know, and Jason and I were talking about this in the first part of the broadcast. This race really feels like, or this track feels like it was kind of the OG Roval, you know, because it kind of drives like that. I mean, from that momentum base, we're going to Pocono next. I know nothing on paper is gonna translate, but you've got to, you know, when it comes to the flow of the season, this kind of has to fit in a nice little chain for you.
Yeah, no, I think it'll be a nice change of pace. I really like the schedule this year that it's like 50-50 road and oval. Sage has had us pretty well covered on the roads so far, to say the least. So I think this will be a nice change of pace, and I think it'll be fun. I'm not going to say I've been super successful at Pocono in the past, but I've had a lot of fun there, so I'm looking forward to it.
Well, all right. I mean, with that being said, you know, we're sending on up to Pocono here in a couple weeks. Ryan, great race, great recovery, and you know, hopefully, you know, when we talk to you next time, it won't be because of you know, having to recover.
Yeah, I hope not. Boy, I sure hope not. Thanks, guys. You do a great job at the broadcast.
Thank you very
Thanks,
much.
Ryan. All right, let's slide on down to third place here, and here's a driver who had to kind of go through the gamut here in this one. Aaron Morgan. Aaron, boy, there was stuff happening around you all race long, and ultimately, once again, you're able to hang it out to the end and pull home a third place finish. Another great run for you.
Yeah, that was it was a lot like Donington, where there's just stuff happening all around, and same with Watkins. And I just this time I managed to be on top of that kind of like those middle field kind of guys, and I could tell, you know, George usually is so much faster, but I can tell these last 3 races he's been having trouble with the fuel saving. So just survived, got around it. It's one of my favorite tracks too. So
It is a fun track, and you look ahead now to Pocono next, and everybody else has kind of talked about it so far, but we get away from the road course where you can pretty much control, you know, I'd say probably 90% of what happens around you in a race, and you get onto an oval where your destiny is as much in the hand of the car next to you and in front of you as it is in your own. Pocono, what are your thoughts on heading to the Tricky Triangle?
well, personally, it's one of my favorite ovals, but I am a little nervous heading to an oval now because just because how Homestead went. You know, usually in retro last year I had some really good pace on the ovals. You know, I think I just going back from the first time I raced retro, I came in second in the oval on Michigan. Then I came in fourth at New Hampshire. Got crashed out at Indy, but I was in the top 10, which is pretty decent. Auto Club, I was going for the win till I didn't uncheck tires. So I have a good track record on ovals in this car, but Homestead kind of shook my confidence going into it a little. So hopefully I can kind of regain that pace I had on ovals last year.
I think I have a sneaky suspicion that you'd be just fine. And this race also good for you in the point standing. So you're up to 5th in points, and boy, you're within striking distance of jumping up there into the podiums. Congratulations.
Thanks, man. It's wow. I don't think I'd get a podium again, man. Those top 4 guys are so fast. Gotta get a little lucky, but
Sometimes you create your own luck, you know?
exactly.
Aaron Morgan, 3rd place here tonight. Congratulations on that. And let's jump one final interview in here. What do you say, Yaz?
Sounds good to me. Dustin, Candyman, the Candyman can. We finally get to talk to you at the end of one of these guys.
Hello, boys. Yeah, right. It's been a bit. This group just gets faster and faster, and I keep having worse and worse luck, man. But this feels great.
Well, it's good. I mean, and Birdie told me though that you've got another a better feeling or a better sensation that's kind of popped into your life recently, huh?
Heck yeah, man. Yeah. Grandchild number 2. It's gonna be kind of odd to be on this platform talking about grandchildren because I don't imagine it happens.
I mean, you know.
Did you get it? Yeah.
Look, with the world has gone nuts in the last 6 weeks. So anything you got to put on a pedestal for yourself, you know what? Damn it, take it.
I'm gonna do it.
I wish everybody could hear Ambrose. Sean Ambrose in the background right now is providing live commentary.
Yeah,
I
much
can
like
try to answer him.
like the guy heckling the guy playing the guitar at the bar.
No kidding. Dustin, 5th place tonight, man. I know this year's been rough for you in both series. It seems like you've been in the wrong place at the right time on a pretty consistent basis. Must have been nice to kind of weave your way through the chaos here.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, if I wasn't in a bad spot, I made myself. I'd get a lot of speeding penalties, end up laps down, and then that's never fun. This was nice. It was nice to keep it on track. It was nice not to have any pit issues, and the ending was looking up. That was going to be really exciting. I caught some traffic in some precarious positions. Everyone was really kind though, and forgiving, and just. Like I said, precarious spots. You'd catch people, or we might have been a pretty good battle for 3rd and 4th. I think if it had not worked out that way. But I'm so pleased with the top 5 right now. I'll take those all day.
How close were you on?
It sputtered and quit right at the paint. Did that practice too? Yeah.
Well, great race, Dustin, man. Congratulations. Great to have you back in the top 5, and look forward to the play dates with the boys here, huh? Let's back to real life.
Someday soon, I hope so. And before I check out, I want to thank HyperX. I've been a fan of their headsets for years, and I'm happy that George was able to get them on board, and DMLC Racing Channel, and you guys, and the admin team. And Dwarf's Candy Shop.
Just gonna say, don't leave out my dessert tonight. Come on.
Yeah, they're gonna have me working late tonight. I'll probably be up until 3 in the morning, but it's all good, man. If you guys are looking for something to hand out without having to get out, go to dwarfscandy.com and order up some chews.
Man, isn't that the truth? You could have it shipped around the world right now. Thanks, Dustin. Great job tonight, man.
Thank you very much, guys. Appreciate you talking to me.
Dustin Wardlow came home in P5. That's going to do it for our Sim Experience Victory Lane. We want to thank the DMLC Racing Channel, the proud sponsor of the Lionheart Retro Series. We talked about it a lot tonight. Look no further than the DMLC Racing Channel. If you want entertaining sim content, 2019 Lionheart Retro Series Driver of the Year Mark Cohn battles his way through the Lionheart IndyCar Series and many other events throughout the year. He laughs, cries, teach you a few things along the way, like Midwest Simulation Spotlight we talked about. the MLC Racing channel on YouTube and Facebook. HyperX, wherever you play, however you play. HyperX knows we're all gamers. Use the promo code LionHRT15, HyperXGaming.com. Sim Experience is second only to the real thing, SimExperience.com. And, of course, our good friends over at Butt Kicker. Feel what you've been missing. Use the promo code LION2020 at thebuttkicker.com. Want to contact any of the sponsors that you see here up on the screen as part of the Lionheart Racing Series, make sure you head over to LionheartRacingSeries.com. They've got links available for all of these great companies that have helped out and supported along the way here with the Lionheart Racing Series, powered by HyperX. Original music you hear on every GSRC broadcast, brought to you courtesy of June Lalonde. Make sure you check out contact info on the screen if you're looking to fire up a streaming service of your own and you need some music. June's a good person to reach out to. These other great companies help us make our broadcast possible as well. You also see the Lionheart Retro Series return to the track here. And it's coming up round number 5 on May 14th. We talked about it. Pocono, first Triple Crown leg. It's the Watchman 250. GSRC and IESN will be there, bringing all the simulated action. We sure hope that you'll be able to join Brian and I 2 Thursdays from tonight. GlobalSimRacingChannel.com if you want more info on GSRC. Check us out on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram as well. Make sure you head over to GSRC on YouTube and subscribe there as well. Here we have merchandise as well, GSRC.StoreNV.com if you want to pick up some swag. On behalf of Brian and Sean and Dougie, I want to thank all of you for watching. Sage Karam wins 3 in a row and takes the checkers here in the HPP Grand Prix of Mosport. So until next time, remember, the only one who remembers, when you come home in second, is your wife and your dog. Good night.